smile on my face. I got that feeling that the world can't erase. There ain't a single day I let go to waste. I got that good news smile on my face. I got that beat beating in my heart. I got that gospel song rocking in my car. A little light gonna get me through the dark. I got that beat beating in my heart. All joy, no stress, no worries, I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah, all joy. I'm gonna thank God Almighty for the good days. I'm gonna thank God Almighty for the bad. And I throw even back to my old ways. Yeah, thank God Almighty, I ain't ever going back. All joy, no stress, no worries, I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah, all joy. All joy. Bad news. All joy. Rants due. All joy. In the struggle. All joy. Yeah, in the battle. All joy. Yeah, life will get you down.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. Glad to have you in here this morning. Appreciate you being part of what we do each and every Saturday morning here on Praise 96.3, your Praise 96.3. And we're testing out a new piece of equipment here today. Yep, it's coming. It's working. We'll see how that goes so far. We'll see if Vance, say something on the air for me. There he comes.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, let's see.
I'm dropping stuff.
All right, I believe I got you there. Let's talk just a minute. I was dropping stuff. Yeah, you're on there. Good deal. All right, so we got that fixed this morning, so that should be good. Got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of things to tell you about. We're excited about having you with us this morning. I had an exciting night last night. We're going to tell you all about that. That's going to be interesting. And also got to relive a little boondocking last night. And for those of y'all who don't know what boondocking is, that's where you're running off self-sufficiency. If you're in a Walmart parking lot or a Cabela's parking lot or wherever you may be, and you're doing that, well, we was doing it last night because we had a situation where my power started flickering. And I was like, well, that's not good. And so it started flickering. And of course, we said, well, maybe somebody's hit a telephone pole. I hope not. You know, you don't never want to see anybody get hurt or anything like that. So
right. Don't never
want to see nobody get hurt, car wrecks are bad. And we just didn't want that. So I called my neighbor and said, hey, is your power all right? He said, yeah, my power's fine. Well, I've been noticing.
Should have just gone over there and slept.
Well, yeah, but I got to be in my own bed. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that Amy and I both, you know how when you're using an electric drill and the brushes are starting to get burned up and it's an electrical smell. It's a very distinct smell. And so I figured, well, we've probably got something going on here. And so finally, after it flickered 3 or 4 times, I said, we got an issue. We're going to have to get the electricians over here in the morning and let them track down. Most likely, we've had a critter get gnawing on that insulation on something, and not enough to kick the breaker, but enough to cause it to
cause havoc and cause heat.
And, you know, so the thing to do is just completely disconnect the trailer from the power source. Then that way we're not worried about, you know, because it's a big matchbox. You know, you don't want to, you know, don't want that going on.
Don't want to strike a match.
Yeah, no joke.
So you don't want that going on. So we did that. Now, fortunately, because we were set up for boondocking, we have alternate sources of power. So I was able to run the air conditioning and everything as well as it could. And we also have some deep cycle marine batteries that we work off. I can't afford those real expensive ones, but I got 2 deep cycle batteries that allows us to run our refrigerator and our lights and stuff like that. So we wasn't in the dark and was able to run the TV and all that kind of stuff. So we were able to do that, and
The important stuff.
we were able to do. So that's good. Let me fix that right fast. There we go. And so we were able to do that, and it made for a huge difference in just being able to stay comfortable and not have to deal with that aggravation of, it being hot and dealing with just not being able to, be comfortable. And that's one of the things when we set up the travel trailer. I did a lot of research. Morning, Brian. Good to see you, brother. When I set the travel trailer up, I wanted to be able to be self-sufficient because, when you're traveling and, it's taxing to pull something that big. And I didn't want to go at it like I was fighting fire. I wanted to go at it at a comfortable rate. And if we wanted to pull over and stop and make a sandwich, or if we wanted to stop and we were tired, or if the weather got bad and, pouring the rain, and the road gets slick, how the road does. As soon as the rain hits it, you can get that oil comes up on top of the pavement from where it's been dry, and the next thing you know, you'll be sliding all over the place. And I just wanted to be safe. So I was fortunate. Amy said, "Well, it feels like we're boondocking again." I said, "Yeah, it surely does." So we were ready. One thing I found out last night that I did not know, and this is really cool. We upgraded our hot water heater. Our hot water heater finally went out. And when it went out, it's a 6-gallon water heater. Well, there's very little difference in cost between replacing that water heater and going to a continuous hot water system, which is what we have now. And our friends at Weekend RV put that in for us. And so it's just a much better application. And since we did that, it runs off propane, but it has to have some electricity in order to function. Ron, good to see you in there this morning. And y'all let me know if you can hear Vance when he talks on there. That everything was working this morning, so I changed cords, and there's a new device that we need that I'm looking for one right now it's an audio interface that will eliminate that problem from here on out. Just got to find one. You just got to look around and get one for a decent price. That's the thing. If you go just buy it off wherever, they can be rather expensive, but there's places out there you can get a good deal on it. So I've got that going on. But I found out, I thought to myself, I need to take a shower. I really needed to shave, but I didn't. I may just grow a beard. It's coming toward wintertime. But anyway, what that popping is, I don't know what that popping is. But anyway,
It's your beard
it probably is.
hitting the microphone.
It probably is. I found out that I could take a shower and my water heater still works because it's running off the 12-volt side. So for it to be on and engaged and ignite, all that happens on the 12-volt DC side. So I was able to take a nice hot shower and no problems. And I didn't stay in there forever because I didn't want to run my batteries down. Brian wants to know, says, tell Vance to tell us where he gets his local cheeseburger. Where's your favorite cheeseburger, Vance?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. It's tough to find a good cheeseburger nowadays.
There's some good ones out there.
Yeah,
I figured you'd say
maybe
maybe.
out of my price range.
Well, that's true too.
I know who needs to put in a grill and make some awesome burgers.
Who?
Guy by the name of what's his name, Jeff.
Oh yeah, Jeff, man. If Jeff was to get on,
Turn him loose on a grill.
turn him loose on the grill,
Yeah.
you have something. Jeff at Baker Boy Pizza, who we're talking about. Brian, let me know if you could hear Vance's
Yeah.
response to that. So,
Not Lance. Your new best friend, Vance.
Vance. Yes, that's true. So we could do that. There's some good cheeseburgers in town.
Yeah, there is somewhere.
I hear the
haven't
Inskip
found
Grill's
one.
got a really good one.
Really?
I've never eaten there,
I've
but
never eaten there either.
but I hear they've
Either.
got a really good cheeseburger. And then I saw where Pete's restaurant downtown had a sold. Have you ever eaten at Pete's downtown on the Market Square?
Uh-uh.
It's a place that's been there 50 years.
I've never been on the marketplace.
What?
Nope.
You never been to Market Square?
Been alive for 39 years and never have been there.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, Pete's sold, and the new owner said they're not going to change anything. They're just going to keep things like they are, and
sure.
and let it go. But you can get a country breakfast in there: biscuits and gravy and eggs over easy, and some sausage and hash browns and fried taters and stuff like that.
Wow.
All that kind of stuff that I could eat one bite of each and be done. That's how it works for me these days. But so we're going to track down. The electricians are coming after I get off the show, and we're going to track down and find out where this issue is with this electric, and obviously repair it, which means we'll have to put a junction box in and do everything up to speed. But the reason I bring that up, folks, is because there are certain things in the home improvement world that you don't fool with. You let the professionals do that, because something as small as a loose screw on a fixture, a plug, an outlet, light switch, can create heat, and that heat can create a fire, and it only takes a small spark to get that going. So
it doesn't take long.
And so that's the reason that we wanted to take our time and make sure we got that correct. And so we'll get all that this morning. And it also goes to show you this, and this is one of the things I wanted to bring up about it today, is we're just talking about home improvement and living on the road and all that stuff that we do. But one of the things I wanted to mention was this: it doesn't matter what you live in, you still have maintenance. It's just the nature of the beast. You're going to have maintenance. I don't care if you live in a travel trailer or a trailer or a modular home or a house or what you live in. You still have where you're going to have those things, and that's part of it. I mean, it's just part of the deal. It's part of what happens, and it's you got to stay on top of it. One of the things I need to do is I need to create a maintenance list of things that we need to look at. We've talked about that, and that's something I've got to get on. Now, our call-in line today is 865-577-4885. If you'd like to talk to us on the phone, we'd love to talk to you, 865-577-4885. If you'd like to send us a text message, we'd love to hear from you there as well, 865-255-3911. 865-255-3911 here in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios of Praise 96.3. And
good old Pete.
And Pete's one of those fellas too that that's something else. I don't fool with plumbing.
No.
I just don't do it.
Every time I've attempted it, I've made it worse than it was to begin with.
Yeah, I don't do plumbing. I just don't do it. It's just not in my forte. I don't do it. Ain't going to do it. Don't want to do it. Ain't going to make it happen, Captain. I just don't want it. Just don't want it to happen.
What about Tennille?
Captain and Tennille. You remember Captain and Tennille?
Oh yeah, I've heard of him. I mean,
yeah.
He's been alive for 39 years after all.
Yeah, I hear you, Captain and Tennille. I know the deal. So it's good. So, like I said, we just want to make sure that we're telling you those things not to fool with. So that's an important part of what we do. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm seeing a lot of stuff and talking about, and I am not a fan of snakes.
Not in the wild.
I'm not a fan of snakes. Yeah, those kind either. But really and truly, we supposedly only have 2 venomous snakes here in Tennessee. That's the timber rattlesnake, which usually you'll find up in the mountains where there's rocks and places to sun and cover and all that stuff. And then the dreaded copperhead, which is an ornery little old snake.
Yeah, boy.
And can get pretty good size, but those are the two, and you ought to familiarize yourself with them and make yourself aware of that, especially as we go into fall, because they'll blend in with that foliage.
Yeah,
Man.
they will.
I'm telling you. I can remember when my dad was teaching me how to hunt. He told me, he said, don't ever step across a downed tree without looking first. Because he said, that could be huddled up under the backside and pop you in the back of the leg.
Yeah, boy.
And he was deathly afraid of snakes. So, I've took that to heed all these years, and it's worked out well for me.
How many trees do you step across?
Well, not any anymore. I don't step across any anymore. It's my days of hunting are long gone, but that's something that we want to talk about. The phone's ringing, brother. And so line one's ringing. We'll find out who that is and what's going on with it. Also, you want to make sure out in your yard and when you're camping, how do you keep those critters from coming around and being around and being part of that. And, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of that today and some of the steps that it takes to educate yourself. One of the things I do is, because I don't like snakes and because I'm unaware of their habits and those kinds of things, I watch a lot of things about them so that I can learn about them, so I can keep myself in a position where I'm not going to have to confront one. If I see it and know it's there, that's fine. But if I don't know it's there, then that's a problem. So I'm going to give you a few tips about that. And of course, also, we always talk, my granddad, he was scared to death of a dog, but he wasn't scared of a snake at all. Not at all. Nothing about a snake was he scared of. But a dog, you chase him all over the yard with a dog. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Because he had got bitten by a dog when he was a kid. So he had that sense of fear of an animal. And speaking of that, my buddy Junior, who does some stuff with us, he has got some puppies that I'm going to tell you about today. And if you're interested in them, these puppies are about 5 months old and they're about 45 pounds. He's got 2 left. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Now, they're going to be big dogs. And what made me think of this is, when I was a kid, I had a big dog. And then as we grew up, and Amy and I got married and we began to have kids, we had boys. And so we decided to get a good sturdy dog for them boys, because we knew they'd want to wrestle with it and ride it and do all those kinds of things. So we ended up getting a black lab that we had for 17 years, Smokey, who was just an outstanding animal. We just had a great time with him. So these are half golden retriever and half Labrador, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're kind of a blackish color, maybe even got a little brown in them, but they're solid. They're going to be big, sturdy dogs. He sold several of them, and I can give you his phone number and you can text him. They are for sale. And he can tell you about them and what he wants and all that kind of stuff. If you want to text him, his name's Junior, and his number is 865-607-0454. 865-607-0454. And if he doesn't answer, just text him, and or you can call too. But if he doesn't answer, just text him, tell him what you're looking for and that you want to know, inquire about the dogs, and he'll tell you how much they are and all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that, looking for a good sturdy dog for a pet. So, morning, Mom. So we got that going on, especially if you got youngins. You need a big sturdy dog that you can't hurt. That's part of it. Now, one of the biggest things that we talk about is, and obviously, and I don't have a problem with this at all, is if you see that snake, leave that snake alone. Now, people say, "Well, I don't want that snake in my on my campsite. I don't want it in my, in that space." Well, the wildlife people say that if you leave that snake alone for about 30 minutes, typically once it feels safe, which I don't know if snakes have feelings, but this is what they say. Once it feels safe, it'll move on out of the campsite. Where you come into a problem is when you try to move the snake or try to do something with it that creates it an issue where it's going to not like that at all. We're going to take that first time out here in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios to hear from some of those people that bring you Rick's House on Saturday mornings. When we come back, I'm going to tell you more about how to deal with snakes and things in your camp area and around your house and in the barn and wherever it may be. You're listening to Rick's House. It's Rick Allen. Good morning, y'all. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Pete with Sanders Plumbing Company. We've been your local trusted plumber since 1989. We're not a franchise or a branch of some huge company from out of town. We're your friends, neighbors, and part of your community. Let us take care of all of your plumbing needs, and we'll treat your home as if it were our own. Sanders Plumbing, quality service for quality people. Call 922-9175.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show, right here on 96.3 FM, Praise FM. Let me tell you about my friends Tyler and Xavier and the team over at Weekend RV Center. Whether you're looking for sales or service or parts or storage, they're the team that can make that happen for you. I trust them. They've been there with me when we were on the road all over the United States, and they'll be there for you. They can work on your RV. They can take your RV in on a trade. They can sell you a new RV, but most of all, they're going to treat you like family. You're not dealing with some big corporation. You're dealing with local folk who want to do a great job and take care of you. Weekend RV Center, 865-457-4424, 865-457-4424, or find them online at weekendrvcenter.com. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690, 865-599-1690.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program, live from the Sanders Plumbing Company studios of Praise 96.3, your Praise 96.3. And we'll go to the phone lines before we go back to talking about snakes. We're going to talk to Brian a little bit this morning. Brian, good morning, brother.
Hey, good morning, Rickster, brother. Thanks for taking my call this morning. I didn't mean to switch gears on a subject on you.
Oh, no
but I was just
He did.
my wife.
He's doing it on
Well,
purpose.
thank. I am, because Vance called me earlier yesterday and said throw Rick a curveball when you call in.
That's what happened.
That's right. Do whatever you got going. We'll
That's
make
his
that.
story, and I'm sticking to it.
What I got going, Rickster, is that right now my garage, and my wife is telling me that we need new gutters.
Okay.
And she pointed it out that we're dipping a little bit. And I told her that talking to the Rickster, he's not a fan of gutter guards. Did I make a mistake on that?
Well, I am a fan of gutter guards, but it just depends on which one you're going to use. There's several things to consider when it comes to gutter guards. The pitch of your roof, how steep your roof is, that's one consideration. Whether you've got 5-inch or 6-inch gutters on your house, that's another consideration. Do you know whether you have 5-inch or 6-inch?
I'm not actually sure. My wife said that the guys that were willing to do this will show up in a vehicle and they will make it to fit, form fit. off of the vehicle that they have with the measurements, and it's like a flat surface for the gutter guard, and then they make it, and then they go ahead and install it. Not from Gutter Guard, but from a gutter company that does that type of work, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, typically most of the guys that do that, that's a gutter machine, and it has a big roll of coil stock on it.
Yep.
And then what happens is it runs through an extruder, and it bends it into what they want it to be. And if they can run it however long, if you need a 60-foot piece or a 30-foot piece or a 20-foot piece or whatever, and they run it to fit. Most quality gutter folks are going to use a good gutter guard system. And the reason for that is they don't want you calling back and going, hey, my gutters are running over, this don't work. Do you notice that your downspouts where they come off of your gutter system, are they small or are they pretty good size? Would you say they're 3x4 or 2x3?
I would say they're 3x4, being in Washington State, so you need the biggest one you can get, basically.
That would be my guess. And so you're good there, because as we've talked about before, a 6-inch gutter will handle 1,200 square feet of roof, whereas a 5-inch gutter and the same roof will handle 600 feet. So it handles twice as much with the 3x4 downspout. So that's good. If your existing gutters are in good shape, then they can put a guard on top. If they're not in good shape, then they'll just do a complete system. Do you know which one they're talking about?
No, and unfortunately, I don't. My wife, we were, you had that nice lady on a couple of weeks ago from the roof. Was it Roof Max? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ever since you had her on, we here in Washington State, about every other commercial or every third commercial is about that company and what they do and how they do it now.
Really? I actually talked to her yesterday because my nephew called me, and he's got a roofing issue that her application may fit. And so I called Sarah and said, hey, can you and Sam go out there and look at it and see if it's something that's applicable to what he's going to do. Now, I haven't heard back yet. I know they were going to set up an appointment to go with him, but in his situation, it was probably a good fit. And she had told me that the company nationwide was spending like $1 million a month or some crazy something to get their name out there, because people just don't know about them. And also folks are skeptical, just like I was, because it's till she was able to explain to me what they're actually doing, which sounds to me to be okay as long as they're standing behind it, which they seem to be doing. And if the insurance companies are approving it, then I would have to say, or I would be of the opinion that it's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I like a gutter guard. There's a lot of people that die every year from falling off their roof from cleaning the gutters. And it's just not the place to be doing that. I remember a story from back in the day where there was a famous wide receiver. I can't remember his name right now, for the Green Bay Packers. And he played for Lombardi and all that stuff and had retired. And he said, I'm going to get up and clean I'm going to take the leaf blower and blow the gutters out and all that. And his wife told him, she said, do not get on that roof and do that. This guy was still, he's an athlete, and he was like 70 years old, but he was still in great shape and, very, very agile and all that stuff for his age. And so she left and went to the store, and he got up on the roof and was cleaning out the gutters and fell off and died. And I remember reading the story about it because it made the news. So, it's just, there's nothing good about walking on your roof. You should never be on your roof unless you're having to check something. It's every time you walk on it, you're damaging it. It's just not made to do that. And of course, the danger of falling. I had another friend of mine who I'd known for many, many years, and he had a 2-story house, and out at the end, he kept his yard immaculate, outside of his house immaculate, and he got to looking, and there was a little tree sprouting up at the end of the gutter on the 2-story side on the tall end of the house. And he was going to play golf that morning. His name's Mark. And he was going to play golf that morning, so he got in the garage, and he was in his 30s. Well, he was in his 30s back then, and he got and run the extension ladder up. Well, he didn't have adjustable legs on the bottom of the extension ladder. You got to put adjustable legs on the bottom of your extension ladder. Putting a brick under one side or shoving some boards or 2 rocks under one side is a nightmare. Don't ever do that. And then they make a ladder stabilizer that looks like a big C that goes up on the top of the ladder that puts it against the house and not against the gutter itself, and stabilizes that ladder. Well, he was in a hurry, and that tree was bugging him. It just bugged him to death. So he put that ladder up there, and it was early in the morning, and there was a lot of dew on the ground. And that ladder slid out from him, and he come down that ladder and landed on his right ankle. Well, he crushed his heel, all the bones in his foot, all the way back up into his shin, and broke all that to pieces. And he was in a leg cast for almost a year. And it was probably through therapy and everything, probably about 3 years before he could ever play golf again. So it's just dangerous business. There's all kinds of things out there. The only thing that I do not like for a gutter guard system is the little aluminum screen that flips up. That's about useless.
Okay.
I don't like that. I like something that mounts to the gutter. If we're doing that, there are some gutter systems in there. There's a gutter top or gutter cap. There's a leaf filter. There's a leaf guard. There's just a bunch of name brands. If you find out which one it is, I'll be glad to see if I can get somebody on here to talk about it. I've sold lots and lots of them when I was working in sales in the home improvement world, and I think it's a great value. I mean, it helps. It really does, as long as you get the right product. That's the thing. You just got to get the right product, and it depends on what kind of debris you're dealing with too.
Well, that's why I'm reaching out to you with your expert advice in regards to the situation. And I know it sounds kind of minimal, but when you're in Washington State, you've got to have your ducks in a row when it comes to what we're talking about. With the rain and et cetera, the leaves flying around everywhere. 1 minute it's 64 degrees outside, and then the next day it's 31 degrees. During the winter time.
Absolutely. I think it's, especially in your neck of the woods, brother. I think it's an important thing that you need to be aware of and pay attention to. And I would recommend it. Plus, it saves you from having to deal with that.
Well, thank you. And hey, my buddy John out of Bakersfield is going to probably reach out to you today and talk about tri-tip barbecue, smoking, and meat, and also different combinations that you can add to your coffee beans to make your coffee taste even better.
Oh, good.
I'm all about that.
We're all about that. Sure. We'd love to hear from John. I see he's in the chat room there. So always good to do that. Surprisingly, and I know I know you and I've talked about this before, but tri-tip is something that we just don't eat a lot of here. But I like it, and we eat it because when we went out west, we found out it was delicious.
Never had it.
Yeah.
But it's not a cut of meat that folks in the East eat a lot of, and I don't know why that is. Because it's fantastic.
Well, you know what? Tell Vance to Google Santa Maria tri-tip barbecue.
You just
and then before I hang up, maybe Lance can bring up his favorite type of music that he can play when you go off the air.
He's a metalhead.
I really am.
Yeah. I knew he was. I checked his Facebook page out, and you could tell he's a ZZ Top dude.
Yeah. He's all about that. He's all about that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like that Christian heavy metal. That's what I'm really into.
Yeah, there's some good. There's some good of that out there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. This new guy that we played, I don't know if you heard it or not. We'll play it again. He's not new. I don't know if he's new or not, but he's new to me.
Yeah, he's new to you.
Rhett Walker, is that his name?
Yep, that's his name.
He's got a fantastic song. We'll play it again on when we come back in after the commercial break.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Okay. Boy, I'll cut you off from them wings.
We're going to play it right after the break.
Vance is my new best friend. He always will be. He's outstanding. So keep up the good work, buddy.
Probably not as long
thank
as
you,
you keep
brother.
calling me Lance.
I know it's
Vance.
hard. It's hard not to do. Lance.
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
good boy.
How many people do you know, Rick, that's named Vance?
One. And there was Coy and Vance on the Dukes of Hazzard.
I know another one, J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance. Yeah, that's true.
Uh-huh.
That's
And my dad, he was senior. So,
Well, it's good to keep the family name rolling. That's all good.
amen.
All right, my brother.
Exactly. Well,
Well,
thank you for everything, Rick, and hopefully my buddy John there from Bakersfield will jump on there and talk to you about a little bit of tri-tip and how the fat works on that and how the
I
barbecue
think it would
works.
be good for our listening audience to hear it because it's just not a cut of meat that we eat a lot of here. But I ate a lot of it when I was out west, and I found it to be delicious.
It is. And the thing is that now John doesn't do it this way, but where I'm from, and we're from the same place, when we do a tri-tip and we use briquettes, we put the briquettes into a circle. So in the middle, there's nothing there because tri-tip has a lot of fat on it.
Yeah. it's
So
delicious.
you don't have the
Sounds like me.
flashback. I didn't want to go there, Vance. I'm sorry. I was about ready to, but I decided not to say a word.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right. Good deal, my brother. I appreciate you. Thanks for calling us this morning.
Brian, behave
Hey,
yourself.
Hey, take care, Vance, and the Rickster. You guys are my best buddies, and you take care of yourself.
Well, we like you too an awful lot, brother. We surely will. Let me know how I
Thank
can
you,
help
guys.
you on that gutter stuff.
I certainly will.
All right, you got it. All right, we're going to go to the next time out here at the bottom of the hour that brings you folks that bring you the Rick's House radio show here on Praise 96.3 in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios. Glad to have you in this morning. All y'all watching us on Facebook, listen online. Mom, see you in there. Michelle, see you and Doug in there. Good to see y'all. Hang on, young'uns. We're going to talk about sneaky snakes and probably some barbecue coming up. And then I got a bunch of other stuff we're going to talk about today. What kind of
Barbecued snake.
barbecued snake? I've ate barbecued snake.
Have you?
I have. We'll talk about that. And also, we're going to talk about what kind of wood should you or should you not burn when you're camping or in your fireplace. We're going to talk about that. You listen to Rick's House. We'll be right back. Hang on. Hey, y'all, being from the country, I've learned one thing for sure. The difference in experience can make the difference between a good job and a bad one. That's why we choose August Excavation for all your excavation needs. Whether it's pouring a footing, laying out a footing, pouring a concrete driveway, excavating a basement, or whatever your excavation needs may be. August Excavating. Call them today, 423-736-1402. 423-736-1402. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690.
865-599-1690.
I got that good news smile on my face. I got that feeling that the world can't erase. There ain't a single day I let go to waste. I got that good news smile on my face. I got that beat beating in my heart. I got that gospel song rocking in my car. A little light gonna get me through the dark. I got that beat beating in my heart. All joy, no stress, no worries. I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah. All joy. I'm gonna thank God Almighty for the good day. I'm gonna thank God Almighty for the bad. Head out the window, waving bye to my old ways. Yeah, thank God Almighty, I ain't ever going back. All joy, no stress, no worries. I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah, all joy. All joy. Bad news. All joy. Rents due. All joy. In the struggle. All joy. Yeah, in the battle. All joy. Yeah, life will get you down. But there's joy still to be found. You can buy it 'cause it's free. Now, so let your troubles go around. Get to singing with me. All joy, no stress, no worries. I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah. All joy, no stress, no worries. I'm blessed. From early in the morning to the crickets in the sun done set. Yeah. All joy. All joy. No stress now. All joy. Too blessed. All joy. All joy, no stress. All joy. All joy, no stress. All joy.
All right, good Saturday morning to you. Boy, it's a good song. I like that. And Rhett Walker and All Joy, No Stress. Great show, great song for the program this morning. Really enjoy that. Hope you're enjoying it too. Listen, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go, John, in just a second, but I got to tell you about a couple of things before we do that. You know, when you go visit our sponsors, be sure and let them know that we sent you to them, and that helps everybody, helps them know what's working. And we're so thankful for our sponsors that we have. You know, our friend Anita at Cozy Mountain Cabins, you know, we've talked a lot about that. Had a chance to visit with her yesterday and talked to her on the phone a little bit, and she's just become a dear friend of the Rick's House program. But if you're looking for a cabin up in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg or Newport or Cosby or anywhere up in there, if you need something that sleeps 2 or you need something that sleeps 25, she's got it covered. And being former military, she's going to do that. That thing's going to be spotless. I'm telling you, it's going to be spotless, and everything's going to be the way that it should be. And she does a fabulous job. You can call her directly. You can find her online at Cozy with a Z, CozyMountainCabins.com, or you can call her directly at 865-660-0340. That's how you get Anita, 865-660-0340, and call her ahead of time, because she gets, you know, every once in a while, if you check her website, she'll have a cancellation or something, but she gets people, a lot of folks that want to come up there and visit and do that. So, and she'll have a great deal for you, but be sure and go by and reach out to Cozy Mountain Cabins. Let's go to John on the phone lines out in Bakersfield. John, good morning, brother.
Good morning, Rick.
How you doing out there this morning?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm hearing, good morning. There we go.
You with me? You may have to turn your volume down.
that better?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. Okay. I was hearing two different conversations in my
Yeah, it's
earbuds.
because there's a little bit of a delay. So if you got your volume up, then you'll be hearing the delay, and that can get kind of crazy.
Oh, gotcha. It's all good now.
Good.
So, well, good morning, everybody. How you guys doing back there?
We're doing fantastic this morning. It's going to be just nice and cool this morning. It's going to be a beautiful day today. I've got to track down some electrical issues with the electricians, but that's okay. We'll get that fixed and make that happen. And better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, so many people. I'm just listening on your story about the friend of yours with the ladder incident. So many people don't know about ladder safety, and there's so many accidents that happen because of it.
There really is. And,
Yeah.
and typically, and people don't realize you can fall from a 6-foot ladder and get hurt really bad.
Oh yeah.
I've
fallen down and gotten hurt. So.
Yeah. Me and Vance know about that, don't we, Vance?
Yeah, but I can't get back up.
I know that's
I
right.
hear you.
It's those days. I don't know. Since I've been losing all this weight, I don't bounce as good as I used to. Used to I just bounce like a super ball. Now I just kind of splat.
That and when you're big like that, the chances of being kidnapped are very low. So.
Oh no, I'm too much work to kidnap.
That's right.
Even if they kidnapped him, they bring him back, offer us $100 to keep him.
I know that's exactly right.
Exactly.
I'd say, hey, ain't y'all gonna feed me something before you take me back?
That's right.
But yeah, I don't. My wife, I get tickled at her. We were talking last night. I was talking with my nephew, and he's an electrician, and he was over helping me deal with this issue that we ran into, and I was talking to him, and my wife had cooked, and she had made a tater tot casserole for the kids, and some steamed vegetables, and it had made some other stuff, and he said, "Boy, that was good." And I said, "Was it good?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I didn't try it because I'd ate my 1 tablespoon and been full. It's just enough to make you mad."
Yep.
It's that kind of thing. I was telling Brian, I think this is an interesting conversation this morning. Tri-tip, I know that's huge out and y'all's part of the world.
It is.
And everybody's cooking tri-tip and eating tri-tip, and I ate a ton of it while I was out there, and it's a delicious cut. But for some reason, we can get it here. A lot of times you have to ask for it. Let the butchers cut it for you. But I don't know why it's not popular here in the East like it is out west.
Well, so much of that part of the country, they use a lot of brisket, and yeah. I like both, but I prefer the tri-tip because it's just, I don't know, to me it's more lean and it's more juicy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
juicy's good.
Yeah, it's a good cut of meat, especially if you know how to cook it. Like I said, when we were out there living on the beef ranch, we had a lot of it. And boy, howdy. And I would just watch and observe because I didn't know how to cook it. And that's the secret to anything, is knowing how to cook it. And, wherever we went, we made sure to try the local delicacy, so to speak.
Sure.
It's like green chili. If you're in New Mexico, you eat green chili and you eat it on everything. They eat it 3, 4, whatever meal they're eating. They're putting a hamburger, eggs, don't matter. They're putting green or red, sometimes red chili, but which is different than our chili. But
right.
But they're putting that stuff on there like crazy, and I liked it. I wasn't as crazy about it as they were, but I didn't grow up eating it.
Exactly. But I found I've done tri-tips so many different ways. I've done it at high temp, like 350, on the grill. I've bought a smoker, pellet smoker.
Oh yeah, we use those
6 years ago. Oh, they're fantastic. But I found that trying different marinades and different rubs and all those, the best for me, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and meat tenderizer, and let the smoke give it the flavor.
Just keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
It's interesting. when I go through the store, we have a local store. It's an independent grocery store that IGAs, we call them out here. And I don't know if y'all have them out there. I'm not sure, but it's Independent Grocery Association. And our local store has local butchers. And I find that when you can get to a local butcher who knows what they're doing, that's where you find your best cuts of meat. And they also, so they cut a certain amount of meat every day. And so as depending, and they try to judge how much of that they can sell. And so they kind of try to keep those things even, but then as you know, they get a little bit ahead, they'll mark that meat down and do that. And a lot of times I'll buy cheaper cuts of meat that will velvetize, for lack of a better term. Do you know what are you familiar with that term?
Not really.
Well, it's, are you familiar with it, Vance?
No.
Well, what happens if you take like beef stew cuts, or if you take, top round or bottom round, or any of those cuts that are flank steak, especially flank steak, if you take any of those cuts that are tough, you can do two things. You can either rub them down with baking soda, take about a teaspoon of baking soda, and rub that steak down with it and put it in the refrigerator once you get it covered and let it set at least 30 minutes. And, or the other thing that you can use is, it's baking soda, or the other thing is that you can use is cornstarch. And so in a lot of the Asian restaurants, that's what they do. They buy the cheaper cuts of meat and then they rub it down with that. And what happens is that, once you rub it down and you let it set, then you pull it back out and you rinse that off of it. And then you go ahead and marinate it and let it set. And what that does is it causes the fibers that are in the beef itself, when the heat hits it, not to make the meat. It makes it just like butter. I mean, it's the craziest thing you ever see in your life. It will tenderize meat. Unbelievable. I mean, it'll just literally melt in your mouth. As I read about it, it's just a trick that you can use to stop those fibers from toughening. It breaks them down. I don't know what the chemical reaction is that causes that, but it does work. Now I'm not going to do that to a good cut of meat, but I've eaten a lot of bad cuts of meat, and I'll tell you something else that we eat a lot of here, and we didn't see it much out west, is cube steak.
Oh yeah.
Do y'all eat much cube steak out there?
I've seen it. I see it a lot. I don't eat much of it. I think we generally use it for beef stews and stuff like that.
Yeah, we use it for steak and gravy, and it's tenderized, and then you use it in steak and gravy and brown it and that kind of stuff. We eat a lot of that. But it's so funny about regionally. Now, are you grilling or smoking when you're working with this meat?
With the tri-tip, I'm smoking. I keep it right around 190 to 200 degrees, and it'll go for about 2.5, 3 hours till I get it medium rare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like low and slow.
My ribs, low and slow. Absolutely. Beef, low. If it's a thick cut like a tri-tip or a brisket, low and slow. Your steaks, you want to you want to use a higher temperature, obviously.
Yeah, you want to get that sear.
Yeah.
And so a couple minutes on each side, and then depending on the thickness, go with what you got to go. The rancher that we worked for out west, his rule of thumb was turn it once. He's put it on there and cook it to a certain amount of time, depending on, he had a whole list of what he knew, and then flip it one time and then tin it and let it finish. That was his rule of thumb. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't tend to turn my tri-tips anymore. Like when I used to grill them at 350, I would get a good sear on the bottom and then turn it over. And I would leave the fat cap on it, but I don't do that anymore. I cut 80 to 90% of the fat cap off of the tri-tip before I put it in the smoker.
Well, that's probably better for you. And you still get some flavor, I would imagine, out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the other thing that I found interesting, and Vance, I don't know if we've talked about this, but Brian and I've talked about this. When the whole time I was out west, I never saw pigs. on any farm. I saw a lot of cattle, and I saw a
Mhm.
lot of other animals, a lot of goats, lot of stuff, but I never hardly ever saw a pig farm. And
Well,
pig,
that's
pig,
all the pigs are at the grocery store.
well, I heard through a buddy of mine that lives in Nebraska that is from Nebraska that it's because of the heat and,
Mhm.
and because of the climate that the pig has a hard time adjusting to that. So hence, I seen a lot of breakfast links, but as far as really good breakfast sausage like we're used to here, I couldn't find it
Mhm.
out there. The only sausage I could find was Jimmy Dean, and it's not my favorite by any means.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But but we eat a lot of that here. So what I did is I would just go to the grocery store and buy pork loin and grind it myself, and then we use a seasoning here called Legs, Leggs, and I like a hot sausage.
I think they make pantyhose
Yeah.
too.
Me too.
So it's funny, how regionally you eat different things, and I guess it's just the way that it is. But I will agree with you that
Mhm.
the tri-tip is an excellent cut of beef.
Oh, it is. It's
Where does it come from, John? Do you know?
it comes from the upper, like above the back hip, in the right ahead or in front of the flank area, or the well, hold on, I had it on Google, because I looked it up just to make sure before we talked. But yeah, it's on the upper rear hip
Right,
part of the steer,
It's the
the sirloin area.
right. Do
Yeah.
y'all do much roast out there? We eat a lot of roast here too. Roast and potatoes and carrots and
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We
cook
do a
some
lot of
green
that
beans.
too. A lot of chuck. We use a lot of
Okay.
chuck roast.
I'm
Yeah.
hungry now.
You hungry?
I know, me too.
Lance? Ain't nothing like a good piece of steak or a good piece of tri-tip or a good piece of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Just as long as it's meat.
Yeah.
That's how I look at
Exactly.
it.
Well, I'll take the leftover tri-tip and I'll cube it up or dice it up, and I'll make my chili beans out of it.
Ooh, I bet that's good.
That's that, and even leftover rib meat. When I after I do my ribs, and I've got leftover, I'll mix it all up, throw it in my chili beans. Fantastic.
Do y'all eat a lot of chili out there?
Yeah, we do.
Is it
But we Californians put beans in it, and I've got a couple of Facebook friends in Texas, and they
they
say
go
not,
crazy. That's not chili.
Yeah.
They say that's
you do not
chili.
put beans in your chili.
Well, in East
Yeah.
Tennessee we do.
Yeah, we do out here too.
We load it up with beans. I mean
Yep.
that's how we do it. Yeah, I've got friends in Texas too, and they'll just look at it and go, "That's not chili. That's
But
beans."
I found a lot of things that I cook, like my chili beans. I throw all the ingredients together, and I used to keep it used to simmer it in a crock pot all day. But I've found that putting everything in the smoker and letting it simmer in the smoker and not stirring it every once in a while
Mhm.
just adds a whole different. That kicks it up at another couple levels.
Yeah, I think there's something to that too. We could do a lot of crock pot cooking because, especially when you're you can put it in at night and let it slow cook and then you got a meal, or put it in early in the morning and there's something there when you get home, and we found it to be very useful. I like a good homemade vegetable beef soup, with corn and green beans and carrots and potatoes and beef and tomatoes and all that in there. And then we use a lot of different hot sauces here, and I'm a hot sauce guy. I like all of them.
Oh yeah.
I like all of them, from Tabasco to Louisiana to Crystal to you name it. I like them.
Yeah.
Each one has like Tapatio. I like Valentina. From our, but one thing that was interesting to me out there, and I've talked about this too. Once we got west of the Mississippi, it became difficult to find the white cheese sauce with the Mexican food.
Oh.
And Vance, that's Vance's
Okay, now I'm
weakness.
even more hungry.
I found more of a Tex-Mex kind of, with the cheddar cheese instead of the white American cheese or the queso.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that true where you're at out there?
This is just my personal taste. But after all of my experiences with Mexican food across the country, I no longer eat Mexican food outside of Bakersfield, California.
Okay.
It's just that's just me.
Well, that's
So
all right.
I'm sure you got a reason.
You probably never catch me in California eating anything.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Vance, you come out here, I'll treat you to a barbecue and Mexican food out here. You probably almost want to move here.
I'll get off
Almost.
about 1, so I'll head that way.
Well, come on.
I tell you what's the truth. We ate my two favorite things when we lived in California for about 6 months. And while we were there, the two things that I found that comes from California that was outstanding, I'm talking about the best I ever ate, was the organic vegetables. The organic vegetables off the ranches and the large farms were phenomenal. And there was a place when we were in El Centro that this family had this huge farm, and then the grandkids in the summertime, the grandparents would let the grandkids open a little roadside stand, and they'd have everything, and there was a lot of stuff that we found that was different from, what we had here and looked different.
Right.
And so, but we also found the vegetables just to be phenomenal, and also the dairy products that come out of, you don't think of California as being a dairy state or a beef state, but it is.
Oh, yeah, we got some of the largest dairies in the country.
I mean, the dairy is just off the chain, fantastic. I mean, just absolutely delicious. Now, John, we got to take a top of the hour break, and if you'll hang on with us, we want to hear about that coffee.
Sure.
When we come back, Vance, can you put him back on hold, and we'll take a time out here at the top of the hour, so you can hear from some of the places that bring you the Rick's House program on Saturday mornings here in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios. We're going to talk about things you can add to your coffee, and then when we get done with that, we're going to go back to talking about snakes, and we're going to talk about what kind of wood should you burn, what shouldn't you burn, and why when you're camping or when you're working on a fire at your house. You only get that here on Saturday mornings. Rick's House. We'll be right back, y'all.
WJBZ FM 96.3 Knoxville, Seymour.
Hello, this is Pete with Sanders Plumbing Company. We've been your local trusted plumber since 1989. We're not a franchise or a branch of some huge company from out of town. We're your friends, neighbors, and part of your community. Let us take care of all of your plumbing needs, and we'll treat your home as if it were our own. Sanders Plumbing. Quality service for quality people. Call 922-9175.
Now listen, if you've not been to Baker Boys, have y'all tried Baker Boys pizza yet? Oh my good gracious. Let me tell you something. It's on Cherry Street. If you get off on Cherry Street and turn toward Magnolia, and you'll see Baker Boys down there on the right. He's got a 30-inch pie, like not even got in my van and got the door closed. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, a slice of pizza feed 10 kids. Baker Boys Pizza is the place. I'm telling y'all, go by and see them and tell them that we sent you, and they're going to take care of you. They're going to be proud to see you, and they're going to be glad to feed you and your family. Great place for after church on Sundays. Go by and see the team at Baker Boys Pizza and tell them that Rick's House sent you.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show, right here on 96.3 FM, Praise FM. Let me tell you about my friends Tyler and Xavier and the team over at Weekend RV Center. Whether you're looking for sales or service or parts or storage, they're the team that can make that happen for you. I trust them. They've been there with me when we were on the road all over the United States, and they'll be there for you. They can work on your RV. They can take your RV in on a trade. They can sell you a new RV, but most of all, they're going to treat you like family. You're not dealing with some big corporation. You're dealing with local folk who want to do a great job and take care of you. Weekend RV Center, 865-457-4424, 865-457-4424, or find them online at weekendrvcenter.com. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690, 865-599-1690.
Want the good, the bad, and the ugly of home improvement? You found it. This is Rick's House.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. Appreciate you being part of what we do here on Saturday mornings. And thank you for letting us in your house. Praise 96.3 in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios and joining us so we can talk about home improvement. A little bit different today. We're talking about some other things and a little bit about barbecuing and a little bit about what you can put in your coffee and that kind of stuff. I also want to tell you, call in line today is 865-577-4885, 865-577-4885. You can always text us at 865-255-3911. That's the Rick's House text line, 865-255-3911. We'll say hi to Melissa this morning. She's out there riding that bike, I'm sure, and we're going to get Melissa in here to talk about her story sometime in the near future. John, you got some secrets for us on what we can do to spice up our coffee.
Well, I don't know about that. I have attempted a couple of times to start a coffee roasting business, and that's still in my mind. But one thing that there's a sort of a myth about coffee. And that's the people who like that dark roast, that robust flavor that they want to get that caffeine jolt from. Well, I found out by mistake that the darker the roast, the less caffeine it's got. So you're right, yes. Because as you roast the bean, you're roasting all of the moisture and anything that's in the bean. You're roasting that out. So the longer you roast it, the more of that is roasted out, and that caffeine goes with it. So early on, when I was starting my coffee roasting business, I had my very, very first batch was a dark roast, and I wanted to make a medium roast next. So I'm roasting the batch, and I pulled the coffee beans out way too soon. They were really light roast. So this was when I was married to my recent ex. She worked about 5 minutes or so from the house. So I had roasted this light roast, and I thought, well, a good medium roast. So maybe I'll mix the dark and the light. And I did that. And I grinded it up, and I brewed a pot, and I tasted it, and it was the best coffee I've ever had in my life.
Oh, wow.
Trying to be as objective as I possibly can because it was mine.
Sure.
But I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm get your opinion on this coffee." And she says, "Well, bring the pot down to work, and I'll have everybody taste it." And a lady tasted it, and she got back to my ex, and she said, "That's really, really good coffee, but I feel like I drank a Red Bull." So she told me, and I researched it, and sure enough, the lighter the roast, the more caffeine it's got. And from that point on, that was my number one top seller, was my Rocket Fuel blend. That's what I called it, Rocket Fuel.
Well, I find as I'm aging that the caffeine makes me nervous if I drink too much of it. I have to be careful. A lot of times I'll do a half and half kind of decaf and a medium roast. Sometimes I try not to drink over a couple of cups, but I like my coffee in the mornings. I just have to, like now. I mean, Vance just got me another half cup, because that's all I know I better not drink another full cup, or I'll be bouncing off
Right.
the walls in here, tap dancing on the table. But
Yeah, you don't want my Rocket Fuel then.
I can't take that. John, I'm gonna tell you
But one
about
thing-
Go ahead.
I was going to say real quick, it's really difficult to find a dark roast that is not bitter. And for some reason, I think Brian can attest to it. He's been a customer of mine, and he likes dark roast. And that was his first thing he said to me was that doesn't have any bitterness to it at all. So that being said, I've got 155 pounds of green coffee beans that are waiting to be roasted.
Oh, wow.
Once I get off the sciatica kick, I will get your address and I will send you some.
Well, I appreciate that. We'll try it out, and
Yeah.
and I always like to try something new, and hopefully maybe Doc Henny will be able to help you with that sciatica thing, especially if you come this way. He knows his business. I'm gonna tell you, he really does. At Hamburg Chiropractic, Dr. Craig Henny.
Yeah, you should just
Yeah,
hand deliver that coffee.
Yeah, bring her on down.
I will. I'll do that.
Well, brother, it's always good to have you on. Thanks for giving us those tips this morning. And
You bet.
And we will talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, John. Always good to have John on the program.
Bye, John.
Thanks, guys. All right. Have a good one.
All righty. Good stuff. A little bit extra stuff there on the program this morning. It's time that I tell you about Costa Oil right here on Chapman Highway.
Yeah.
6537 Chapman Highway, right here in Knoxville, right out the street from us here at the Praise 96.3 studios, the Sanders Plumbing Company studios. And Jesse and the team out there, and it's a family-owned business. They just do a good job.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and they've got a flat rate special running right now that is getting a lot of attention. If you go out there to get your oil change, tell them that I sent you here at Rick's house, Vance and I, from Rick's House Radio. But they're running a blended oil change, a synthetic blend, for $39.99. And they're running a full blend synthetic oil, which is what we run in a little Prius, is $69.99, which that's a great price for that. And they check the air in your tires and your fluids and all that kind of stuff. They'll tell you. You can call them. They'll tell you all about it. Give you a neat air freshener. It smells nice and tropical, so that you can do that. But if you go by and see them at 6537 Chapman Highway, Costa Oil, I should say, and Jesse and the team out there, let them know. And then also coming up in a few weeks, we're going to have our buddy Chris on from Miracle Method in Knoxville Surface Refinishing.
There we go.
He's been working on a bunch of stuff over at the University of Tennessee. We're going to get an update on that. And he'll talk about, redoing the tile in your house, coating it, floors. They do garage floors, so that you've got the nice garage floor in there. They do that. They can make your countertops look completely different. They just do so many things. Miracle Method Company we worked with for a long time, and so we'll be glad to have them on, as well as some big news coming up from our friends down at Preferred Living Homes Custom. We're going to be talking with them in the near future about that Franklin line of custom modulars. Modulars becoming so popular, and with today's cost of living and buying in bulk and what they're able to do, it just makes a huge difference. I'm a modular home fan. I am. I think that anytime you can build something in a factory setting and buy and discount in bulk, I think you're getting ahead of the game. And so I think that that's really a good part of what you do. And by the way, my friend Junior's got these half golden retriever and half lab pups for sale. And you can call him, and they're he's got 2 males left. That's the only 2 he's got left. And these dogs are beautiful. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous, and they're going to be big. They're going to be big dogs because they're probably 45, 50 pounds right now, and they're about almost 5 months old. But if you have any interest in that, or you're looking for a good sturdy dog, they are for sale, and you can call him at 865-607-0454. 865-607-0454. You can text him or leave him a message, and he'll call you back, and you can find out. I don't know what all the particulars are about it. I just told him I'd mention it on there because he's a good guy and does a lot of stuff for us. So if you're looking for a good sturdy dog. Vance, did you know if you had to say what the sweet spot for sleep is temperature-wise? So if you want the ideal temperature for getting high quality sleep,
67. Okay, 65.
between 60 and 67.
Wow. Well, there
Well,
you
you're
go.
dead on the money.
I know, right?
So
I
that's
know
why
how
you
to sleep.
sleep.
I just don't do much of it.
Yeah, I know that's right. I don't either. I'm up every hour on the hour, seems like anymore. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Research shows that 60 to 67 is the ideal temperature for
Yeah,
sleep,
That'd run people out of my house.
which, boy, I'm
At
telling
night.
you, I got, it's got to be cool when I sleep. If I get hot, I'm done. I'm up. I can't sleep. I'm telling you.
I say just put an extra unit in for my room.
I know that's right. I can go with you on that for sure. And by the way, the call-in number today is 865-577-4885. That's how you get us on the program. You can also text us at the Rick's House text line, 865-255-3911. That coffee was giving me a fit there for a second, but that's all right. So give us a shout, and we'd love to answer a home improvement question for you. Now, before this, we've been talking about snakes. And not just snakes. When you're camping or when you're out in the backyard, you know, we're all trying to keep those critters out that we don't want. I believe the electrical issue we have is from a critter because it got into my trash. And so we're gonna have to trace that down today. Thank goodness I got 2 good electricians that know what they're doing and know how to do that and make sure it's fixed properly. But you know, the thing about it is that there are some things that you can do. You know, just like they talk about the bears in Sevierville and Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and all that, you know, they're using those new trash cans that keep the bears out because if an animal smells food, they're coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The thing about snakes is you got to control rodents.
Yeah. Well, they do it for you.
Yeah. They do.
Yeah.
But if there's rodents there, you know, where there are rodents, or moles, or you know, any of those kinds of things, that's going to attract those animals that eat those things, or frogs, or whatever, and that's a snake. So one of the things, especially when you're camping, seal your food up in a something that snaps down and locks.
Yeah,
you know, make sure that container's sealed up good. Make sure it's put away where it's not obviously where it's going to draw them in. Now, I did a little research on this because you know. It's so funny because, you know, obviously we're not going to choose a place to camp where we're going to have a lot of brush around, or we're going to have, you know, sandy areas or anything with large rocks, because those are all places that, you know, snakes want a sun and they want to do those things and they want to hide and do all that kind of stuff that snakes do. Fortunately, we don't have those 2 different kinds of poisonous snakes that's supposed to be here in Tennessee, the timber rattler and the copperhead. You know, I hear people talking about cottonmouths, but we're not supposed to have cottonmouths. Now, I don't know. That don't mean they ain't here. I don't know if they are or not. I have to talk to the wildlife people about
I've heard that my whole life.
I have too.
If you smell cucumber and you're not around a garden, go the other way.
That's exactly what I've always heard that. And I too have heard that my whole life. Also, in addition to that, I thought this article that I read about identifying the snake, you know, one of the things that it said, well, yeah, I know. I'm going to identify it. It's a snake. You know, that's what it is.
It's like, look at its eyes. I ain't getting that close.
No, I'm, you know, and even then, there's some stuff out there that you know, they're just not one of my favorite animals. But it does say this: the easiest way to identify a snake and find out what it is to purchase. If you camp in West North America, then there's a field guide that you can purchase. They're like $25.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you camp in East North America or in the central part, there's a different field guide that gives you good descriptions, and they're about $25 or less, so that you can do that. Now, there are mobile apps on there.
Well, you could take a picture of it and send it to Google.
Yeah, I guess you can. But there are those mobile apps. The writer says that they can get a false positive, that they're not as clear as the field guide is, because it matches it exactly.
Oh, wow.
Well, I ain't going to be picking up a snake. No way.
No.
And, you know, and I'm not going to get close enough where it can strike me. That ain't going to happen. Unless I need to dispatch of it, or get it on its way.
Step across the tree.
Or step across the tree. First thing it says to do is contact, if you're in a national campground, or a public campground, contact your park ranger, or contact the camp host. Now, I've been a camp host all over the country, and if they contact me about a snake, this camp host is going to call his boss and say, "There's a snake down here, and this is what I think it is. Who do you send down here to wrangle such a creature?" Because somebody who knows how to do that's going to be who's going to do it, and it ain't going to be me. So, you know, just using some good common sense. Most of the time, they say that if you leave it alone for a half hour or so and just let it do its thing, it will move along. Now, whether that's
actually
true
chop
or not,
its head
I don't
off.
know.
Don't touch the head.
You know, that's out west when they would kill rattlesnakes.
Yeah,
They'd bury
the head. Yeah,
yeah, because it'll bite you.
Sure will.
It sure will. And I don't know what causes that involuntary reaction. I don't know.
Well, they're snakes. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I know a lot of snakes that would bite you after you cut their head off.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to talk a little bit about this morning, I guess we need to take that next time out, and we missed one. Let's take that next time out. When we come back, I want to talk about burning fires, and I want to talk about where you're at and what you're doing, and I want to give you a little bit of information that'll help, whether you're doing that in a chimney, fire pit at home, or whether you're out camping and doing that. I want to talk a little bit about the sources of wood, and we're going to talk about that, and also talk a little bit about chimney sweeps and making sure that fireplace is in good order. You're listening to Rick's House live in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios, at Praise 96.3. We'll be right back, y'all. Hang on.
Hello, this is Pete with Sanders Plumbing Company. We've been your local trusted plumber since 1989. We're not a franchise or a branch of some huge company from out of town. We're your friends, neighbors, and part of your community. Let us take care of all of your plumbing needs, and we'll treat your home as if it were our own. Sanders Plumbing. Quality service from quality people. Call 922-9175.
Hey, y'all, being from the country, I've learned one thing for sure. The difference in experience can make the difference between a good job and a bad one. That's why we choose August Excavation for all your excavation needs. Whether it's pouring a footing, laying out a footing, pouring a concrete driveway, excavating a basement, or whatever your excavation needs may be. August Excavating. Call them today, 423-736-1402. 423-736-1402. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show, right here on 96.3 FM, Praise FM. Let me tell you about my friends Tyler and Xavier and the team over at Weekend RV Center. Whether you're looking for sales or service or parts or storage, they're the team that can make that happen for you. I trust them. They've been there with me when we were on the road all over the United States, and they'll be there for you. They can work on your RV. They can take your RV in on a trade. They can sell you a new RV, but most of all, they're going to treat you like family. You're not dealing with some big corporation. You're dealing with local folk who want to do a great job and take care of you. Weekend RV Center, 865-457-4424, 865-457-4424, or find them online at weekendrvcenter.com. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690, 865-599-1690.
Got a question? Rick's got the answers for all your home improvement questions. It's Rick's House. Home improvement advice done right.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to Rick's House and Praise 96.3 Sanders Students. Blah, 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 blah. The Sanders Plumbing Company studios of Praise 96.3. Got a little tongue-tied this morning. Appreciate all of y'all joining us around there. Sebastian, good to see you in on the program. Thanks for joining us here. Before the timeout, we were talking a little bit. We talked about snakes and rodents and trying to keep those things away from your campground or from your fire pit. And the writer that I was reading said that pretty much all that stuff you hear about, putting salt down or putting lime down or putting any, or that they just said that just don't work.
Well, you need to keep those black snakes close anyway.
Yeah, black snakes they eat other, and the king snakes they eat other snakes, and that's a good thing. So I got no problem with them.
King snakes are beautiful too.
At a distance.
I've had a couple. They were great snakes.
Yeah, they're good. They do that, and of course the gray rat snake is good for eating rodents. But he likes chickens too, so you got to watch him.
No doubt.
We've always tempted to look for that firewood when we're out and we're rummaging around and we're camping and stuff like that. And there's some things I just never thought about, and I wanted to bring you up to speed on what I was researching this past week. And if you're out camping, you're listening to us up in Sevierville, those kinds of things. There are some woods that you do not want to use in your campfire. Number one is driftwood. And I never thought of this. I built many a fire with driftwood.
Oh yeah,
on the beach, and ocean driftwood.
Oh no,
has a high salt content, and chlorine is a chemical compound of salt. So when you burn driftwood, it releases high doses of dioxins.
Yeah, well,
and you think about that. You got to be careful about what you're breathing in. It's a carcinogenic, and so naturalist and TV survivalist instructor Roger Hammer says it's also not a good thing to use under your steak. You think about that. A lot of people cook with fire.
True.
I've cooked a lot of meals with fire, and so whatever you're cooking over that wood, it's going into that meat or whatever you're cooking. So you want to be really, really careful with that. And you think, oh, that's good dry wood. Yeah, well, it's loaded with carcinogens, so you want to be careful about that. I think that's something that we don't think about a lot. The other is greenwood, which we all know that greenwood is really, really hard to light.
That is.
And reckon? It's if it's just been cut, it's really hard to light, and it's hard and difficult to get done. But here's the problem: you never want to burn greenwood in your chimney because it not only does it smoke like the dickens, and it'll also pop and crack and pop ashes and embers out. Because what happens if you leave a little water in the pan and put oil in there and then turn it on high? What happens? That water pops and it'll pop that grease out on you. So if you get it to light it, that'll build up a creosote. And the same with pine. Pine's a quick burning material.
Yep.
But it's got a lot of resin in it, and that resin
It builds up in a chimney.
builds up in a chimney, and that's what starts fires in your chimney. Plus, it emits a lot of soot, and of course, the creosote to the chimney walls, and then it burns real quick. It burns hot, you know. But it's something, you know. And he also says that he would not cook meat over it because of the sap or because of the resin. Now, the other thing is leftover construction materials. This is a bad place to burn. You know, I know, you know, a lot of job sites, they burn. I told my guys, I said, if I catch you burning anything on my job site, you're gone. You know, don't be cutting up 2x4s and burning them. You know, OSB and plywood have exterior glues in them. You know, there's, you know, I've seen people burn, you know, all kinds of construction materials that have toxic stuff in them. Old furniture, you know, it's got varnish in it and all kinds of things that can be difficult for you. And then, of course, up until the early 2000s, you know, pressure treated wood was either salt treated or it was treated with arsenic. Now, I had a friend.
Cook your steak over that.
Yeah, I had a friend. You're not supposed to burn pressure treated wood.
No.
I had a friend that was building a deck down in Florida, a friend that was a carpenter, and he got a large splinter in the right of the palm area of his thumb from some pressure treated wood that was treated with arsenic. And that pressure treated wood that arsenic got in his system and got infected, which he must have been super sensitive to it. And boy, he had a time with that. So, you know, that's something. And of course, painted wood's not good for firewood either. But then they went to ACQ, which is a whole different type of pressure treatment. But you're still not to burn that. Also, he says, don't burn wood that you don't know is local. You know, now if they're selling firewood, that's a different.
Well, yeah,
story.
they have to preserve it to ship it here.
Yeah, you know, and then this is the other thing. You have to preserve it to ship it. Okay.
I don't know.
And there are some trees that are poisonous. You know, you think about it, and I always had to think about this. I am highly allergic to poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac.
Oh yeah. I
mean, if it's oily and greasy looking, it'll get in my eyes, inside my mouth, and it's terrible. I mean, my wife she could just grab it and pull it up, and it wouldn't, or my son too, and it wouldn't bother them at all. She can't do that now. But you know, if you're burning wood and it's got vines on it, you might be burning poisons oak or sumac or poison ivy, and you inhale that smoke. That can get in your system and cause you some really, really difficult. Oleander is another bad one. You know,
oleander.
Yeah, it can hospitalize you.
Oh, oleander.
Sorry. If you breathe it or use it for hot dog sticks. So I mean, you got to be careful. You know what you're using. Buy some metal ones at the camp store and be done with it. You know, you got to do that. I mean, think about how many times we roasted marshmallows as a kid over fires. And of course, wherever you're at, you have to be sensitive to the fact that we have to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, there's some wood that's endangered. And there's a list of that at the U.S. Department of Agriculture has a chart for woods you can't burn. Now, if you're in National Forest, you can't pick wood up and burn it.
Oh, no.
They will have a fit unless you're a Native American. If you're a Native American, you can forage and you can use dead wood. You can do all those things.
Well, Elizabeth Warren could do it then.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. If it has mold or mildew, or it's been laying and it's damp, moldy wood can create toxic fumes when burned. And you know, it can, I mean, anything you're burning and there's smoke in it, can cause you to be really, really sick. Plus it gives a lot of smoke. Leave it for the bugs, you know. It can be bad. So, you know, you want to think about those things before you do that. And then this is something that I never considered before. And in this article that I read, it gives this information. So I'm just giving information. I'm not saying one way or another, but I do agree with what I've heard so far. It says burning newspaper, cardboard, or wrapping paper and magazines can float long-lasting embers into the air and even up the chimney, where they can set creosote and the roof ablaze. One exception, you can use a small bit of tiny twisted newspaper to start a fire. You know, that's true. You know, there's nothing worse than a raging fire and embers coming out of it and traveling 100 yards and then landing and catching dry stuff on fire. I mean, that's a dangerous thing. So I'm not a fan of that. And then, of course, the thing that we shouldn't think of. I mean, when we were working as a camp host, and I'll say this before we take our next time out, when we were working as camp host, you know, we would have to clean out the fire pits because, you know, people leave styrofoam, plastic, empty food containers, boxes, cigarette butts, and all kinds of trash. And all that stuff has toxins in it. We'd have to pick all the cigarette butts out of there. We have to pick up the forks, the plastic, the candy wrappers, all that kind of stuff, because A, it's toxic to breathe, and B, the wind can pick it up and it can travel a long way. So it's just something that you're just not supposed to burn. So I just want to share that with you, a few little tips that'll help you when you're out and about. And just know the best thing to do is take your own firewood or buy some at the campground, and then you know yourself.
Yeah, take your own pine wood.
Take your own wood that you're going to burn in there. So that's good stuff on the program. We're going to take that next time out here in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios. And when we come back, we're going to talk more home improvement, a little bit more stuff about what you can and can't do. If you've got a question for us, we'd love to hear from you. The call-in line's 865-577-4885. Or you can text us at 865-255-3911. You're listening to Rick's House live from the Sanders Plumbing Company studios at Praise 96.3.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. Let me tell you about my friends at Knox Rail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Popper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxRailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Now listen, if you've not been to Baker Boys, have y'all tried Baker Boys pizza yet? Oh my good gracious. Let me tell you something. It's on Cherry Street. If you get off on Cherry Street and turn toward Magnolia, and you'll see Baker Boys down there on the right. He's got a 30-inch pie, like not even got in my van and got the door closed. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, a slice of pizza feed 10 kids. Baker Boys Pizza is the place. I'm telling y'all, go by and see them and tell them that we sent you, and they're going to take care of you. They're going to be proud to see you, and they're going to be glad to feed you and your family. Great place for after church on Sundays. Go by and see the team at Baker Boys Pizza and tell them that Rick's House sent you.
No more breaks.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hello, this is Pete with Sanders Plumbing Company. We've been your local trusted plumber since 1989. We're not a franchise or a branch of some huge company from out of town. We're your friends, neighbors, and part of your community. Let us take care of all of your plumbing needs, and we'll treat your home as if it were our own. Sanders Plumbing. Quality service for quality people. Call 922-9175.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show, right here on 96.3 FM, Praise FM. Let me tell you about my friends Tyler and Xavier and the team over at Weekend RV Center. Whether you're looking for sales or service or parts or storage, they're the team that can make that happen for you. I trust them. They've been there with me when we were on the road all over the United States, and they'll be there for you. They can work on your RV. They can take your RV in on a trade. They can sell you a new RV, but most of all, they're going to treat you like family. You're not dealing with some big corporation. You're dealing with local folk who want to do a great job and take care of you. Weekend RV Center, 865-457-4424, 865-457-4424, or find them online at weekendrvcenter.com.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome back to Rick's House, live in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios. Praise 96.3, your Praise 96.3, 20 minutes before the hour, 10 o'clock. Appreciate you joining us on the program. And I was just thinking about a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. We're going to reach out and see if we can get a hold of Jeff here in a little while. Not right yet, but and at Baker Boy Pizza, and see what they got going on today. I'm feeling some Baker Boy Pizza. Boy, I had some last week, man. You talking about good. And maybe some of them rolling pins. You know, that thing's 12 inches long and has a pound of cheese in it.
You sure it's not 2 pounds? That's a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese, brother. I'm telling you. But it looks so good. It looks so good. And my grandson, him and my granddaughter, they tore into it. And then when the pizza got there and they saw how big the pizza was, they was like, "Oh my!" So we got that going on. One of the things that is a constant issue as we deal with, and of course our friends at Top Septic will tell you this. Thank goodness they have the service that they do where they come out and pump your septic tank. You know, that's something you have to do occasionally. With an RV tank, they'll come out and clean your RV tank too. What's great about it, Heidi and Josh at Top Septic, is they know what it takes to turn the machine down, the pump down, so that they don't collapse the tank.
Right.
Because you could easily collapse the tank by putting too much pressure on it from the machine that's on the truck.
And not everybody's going to think about that when they come out to
exactly right
do that work.
And they know that, and so they're excellent about that. I've heard a lot of different things about septic tank treatments and those kinds of things, and I would lean on Josh and Heidi for that recommendation. But what I can tell you is there is a product. There are several products that I recommend. They are not a sponsor of this program. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to order some of them today. Yeah, they should be. We'll have to call and tell them. They should be. And it's one of those things that I found them online because I was looking for something natural that was not going to be a harsh chemical. You know, it's almost defeats the purpose if you put a harsh chemical in your in your septic tank. You know, the way your septic tank works is you have a tank for solids, and then that tank has an overflow and it goes in. So the liquid comes, the solids stay, the liquid comes over into the next tank, and then that seeps out into the drain field and is reabsorbed.
The neighbor's yard.
Yeah, exactly. So while that's happening, there's bacteria in the solids tank, and that bacteria is what breaks those solids waste down. I was reminded that yesterday I was looking through show prep, and it was 20 years ago yesterday that the Dave Matthews Band was going across the river in Chicago, and they had a blowout in their black tank, and it dumped 800 gallons of black tank waste into the river. And just so happens that, do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
And just so happens there was a tour boat with people going under the bridge at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It was needless to say, it was a mess. Now, that being said, my buddy Fred, who drove a bus for many years for Gary Allen, the country singer, and several others, told me he used to always say to me when he would come on there and tell me, and he also drove for Kenny Chesney and some other guys, but he would always tell me, he said, the last thing I'd say to him is make sure you got that dump cap on, which covers the black valve on the thing. Do you know that back then, I don't know what the fine is now, but if you're going down the road with your RV and your black tank valve cover is not on and secure,
yeah, you don't want that.
it used to be a $10,000 fine.
Wow.
10,000.
It's kind of like cussing on the radio.
Yeah. Exactly, or saying one of those 20 words we're not allowed to say, don't want to say them anyway.
Right.
On the radio. But that being said, so it's an important thing. But as you use your black tank, it's naturally some things are going to happen. Now, my black tank has a built-in washing system inside of it, and most RVs that you purchase today have that. And so what happens is you fill your black tank up and you flush it. And you do that by opening the black valve and putting it into the appropriate place for black water. Then once you do that, you shut it back down and you fill it back up with water and you flush it again. And then you shut the valve and you take and you put a hose onto the black tank, has a spray part on your hose. You put the hose on there. And so what it does is it sprays the inside of that tank kind of like a dishwasher. You know how a dishwasher sprays dishes as it goes around? Depending on what kind you have, there's different ways that it does that. So it sprays the walls down so that it can get the things that are built up in a few minutes. The things that are built up and to keep it clean, because in your black tank, you have sensors. And that's why when you go over to the control board, you can see how full your black tank is. It's a third full, it's half full, it's 2/3 full, or your gray water tank. So you can manage that and know what you're dealing with. Of course, once you flush the black tank and then you flush the black tank again, and then you rinse it, then you flush it, and then you open your gray tank and flush your black tank, and then you close it. Then you put water back into your tank, enough in the bottom of it. Some people say 5 gallons, some people say 2. It just depends on what you're doing. And then you add to it a treatment that's going to deal with the odors and things like that are a problem with your black tank. Now, there's a line of products out there, because if you use that tank for any period of time at all, and even if you maintain it exactly like you're supposed to, there's going to be issues where it's going to get those sensors dirty, and there's going to be things that don't get out and all those kind of stuff. So the product that I recommend, and like I said, they're not a sponsor of this program, but I know this product works. The product is called Unique. And I order it offline usually because that's the easiest way to find it. Some Walmarts carry one of the products, but they have several different products. They have a product that's specific for restoring the sensors, cleaning the sensors on the sidewalls. That's called Unique Restore It. Then they have a product that you add monthly or whenever you dump, and it's called Unique RV Digest It Blackwater RV Holding Tank Cleaner. But here's the one.
Boy, what a title.
And then you also have Unique Clean It, which is a holding tank cleaner. But if you buy a used RV or you've been using your RV for a long time, the product is called Unique Clear It Black Tank Unclogger. Now, this cleaner, if you're living full time in an RV, you do the same procedure that I just told you about. And then you put a little water in the bottom of it, and then you pour the cleaner in, and then you use it as you normally would until it's full, and then go through the process again. Now, this product will actually, they say, and I have to agree with it, Clear is without question the strongest, most effective RV black tank unclogger in the market, and the best option if you have any kind of clog, backup, or blockage in your black tank. It is a boosted blend of fast-acting enzymes and extra-strength bacteria, works quickly to break through and digest the waste that's causing your RV's black tank to back up. And it's effective at removing pyramid plugs, blocked plumbing lines, and compacted waste that's hardened inside your black tank. So if you buy an RV and it's a used RV, first thing I'm going to do is use this product, because it's going to break that down. If you're not living in the RV, then you flush it, do all that stuff, fill it, pour this product in there, fill it, and let it sit 48 to 72 hours. The longer, the better. If you can let it sit a week or 2 weeks, the longer you let it sit, the more it's going to work, because that's what it's designed to do. And it will break that stuff down. For us, we have to use a macerator pump to pump it, the black tank waste out, and it's ground and goes out through the pipe. But this is also going to clean that pipe. Going to make it easier on your RV pump, macerator pump to work. You can find it on Amazon and Walmart and all kinds of places like that. 32-ounce bottle is one treatment. It's about $22, $26. So
it's not so bad.
No, it's well worth it. The other thing is don't put any kind of wipes, don't put any kind of tissue paper, use a trash can.
Paper towels, nothing.
None of that stuff in there. That is the death of your RV black tank system. You want to try that phone number for us now, Vance,
Sure.
while I'm talking? Be sure and remind him. But it's a great product, and we find it to be very, very effective. My friend had purchased an RV and had that same issue. And it also comes in pods, but I just do the liquid version myself. I find it works real good. And then they've got a septic system digester for your house septic system. They got extra strength. I mean, they've got several different ones, and you can read on there and it'll tell you exactly, what you're trying to do. We're getting ready to do the Restore It product, so we can bring that back up to speed and get everything going the way that it needs to be going. The maintenance of that will make a huge difference on whether or not you have a good system that works well. And if you neglect to do those things, then you're going to have a problem down the line. So we highly recommend that product. Like I said, they don't pay me nothing to talk about it. It's just what I use. You can find it at a lot of different places. Like I said, if you just Google it, it's all online. Some places you can get 2 for 1, all that kind of stuff. But it's a great product. 4.6 out of 5 stars, 288 reviews. And that's something else. My wife taught me this when we were getting ready to go on the road, and this makes excellent sense to me. If you're looking at a product like, for instance, we were looking at a portable washer and dryer to utilize in our RV, because I'm telling you, going to the laundromat is not for me. That's you got to load all that stuff up, and then you got to take it, and you got to move it, and then you got to fold it, and you got to dry it, and you got to put it, you don't know who's been in there before you. And what they've washed. And I kind of got phobias about that kind of stuff. So, that's not something I do. And so, we decided that we needed our own way to wash and dry clothes. When we were stopped somewhere where we were hooked up to water, and we found 2 that work excellent. And my wife said, I was researching it and looking. Now, Vance, you come from appliance background. Your dad owned an appliance store.
Yeah.
You worked in the appliance store, so you know about those kinds of things. Me, I don't know about those kinds of things.
I learned how to repair a bucket and washboard.
Learned how to repair it, learned how to use it. A little of both.
Both, yeah.
That's what I thought.
I mean, you got to repair a bucket and a washboard before you can use it.
Absolutely.
In some cases.
So anyway, that's just one of the things that we learned when we
when we were on the road. And so as I was looking at these, and this is what my wife said, and this is great advice, men. This is, you need to listen. She said, Ricky, she said, and that she calls me Ricky because if you knew me in school, if we're ever together, Vance, and somebody goes Ricky, you'll know that they've known me since I was little, because I'm Ricky to everybody that's known me since I was a little kid. But if they call me Rick, then they met me later in life.
Yeah.
But anyway, she said, read the reviews, especially the reviews by women.
Really?
Now,
Oh, because they're more. Yeah. Okay.
and so I did. And she said, if it's something that pertains to where, and I wash as many clothes as she does. We help with that. That's one of the things I help do. But back then, she said, women are using this stuff every day. You want to find out if it's good or not? Read the women's reviews. And so that's what I did. And I actually ended up buying a Panda dryer made by Panda, which is a company that makes these specific types of dryers. It's been outstanding. And then I ended up buying a different washing machine. And this little washing machine that we have works better than the $2,500 Samsung I had in my house. I mean, it washes great. We've had absolutely no problems with it. But that's what the reviews said. And so by listening and going on and seeing what the ladies said,
The critical ones.
they're going to tell you the truth. I didn't say that. You said that.
What did I say? I don't remember saying anything.
Yeah, they're going to tell you the truth of how it is and what it is and why it is.
Good
And that's
or bad.
good or bad. You're going to get the truth. And that's the best way in the world to figure out what type of product that you should use when it has something to do with that, especially those kinds of appliances. Now, there's other things that I look at and things that I do, and but I look at reviews, and also look at the number. How many reviews does it have? How many reviews does it have? And then, of course, check pricing. You can always do that. Now, I need to tell you about Senor Taco and Cancun.
Ooh, speak on.
I'm gonna tell you. I went this past week, last week. Amy and I did to Senor Taco. We had kind of a day with something really good happened, and so we went to have lunch, and which we can eat cheap now because I can eat a taco. That's about all I can eat, one taco, and I'm stuffed.
Yum.
And so they came up with now I don't know if Vance will like this because Vance is particular about his food.
Ooh, yeah.
He is. It's got to be a certain way, a certain how, and a certain this and a certain that. And I
And
get
it can't
that.
mix on the plate.
Yeah, you can't mix. Are you really a no mixer?
Well, okay, my potatoes can mix with my peas.
So there's rules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's rules. Okay, I get that. Well, we were at Senor Taco on Broadway, and of course, their sister company in Halls, Cancun, and then of course the other Cancun out in South Knoxville. They come up with a new taco, and this is a flour or a corn tortilla that's heated, and it's got melted cheese all over it. And then they put fajita style shrimp bits and steak on there, along with pico de gallo, and then they use a jalapeno guacamole.
Oh, you just lost me
Man,
with jalapeno and shrimp.
delicious, absolutely delicious. And of course, when Vance goes, he just needs that white cheese sauce and about 2 dozen chips.
Oh,
Now, do you eat their chips, or you got a chip that's your favorite?
well, I'll eat their chips normally,
Yeah,
especially at one particular location, but I won't mention them.
that's all right. It don't matter. We like them all.
Well, it's Polancho's. They make their chips fresh in store, and oh, they're good.
Well, I've never eaten there, so I don't know.
Take my word for it, then.
But go by and see the team at Senor Taco. Be sure and tell them that Rick's House sent you, y'all, so that they know that we're doing our job, and let them know that they're doing that. How much time do we have, sir? We're about out of time, looks like.
We are. We've got a minute and a half, actually.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'd kind of like to end with that song that we've been playing today. Can you access it? This song is from an artist that I'm learning. Man, there's some good stuff on 96.3, and this is kind of a new one. And I tell you, it just brightens my day, and I hope it'll brighten your day as we get ready for William the Encourager to come in. And
I don't have time for that whole song.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
We only got a minute. Well, a minute now.
Okay, we only got a minute then. Okay, good stuff.
Sorry about that.
Well, that's all right. We can do the outro when you get ready and do that, and we'll get William in here on time. So we got events coming up. Y'all be sure and go to those. We're glad to be a part of that and do part of that. So let us know if there's something we can do to help you during the week. If there's something we can answer a question for you, you can do that. rickshouseradio.com, or you can get us at rickshouseradio@gmail.com. God bless you. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week right here in the Sanders Plumbing Company studios at Praise 96.3. Have a good one, y'all.
From the Banks & Jones Attorneys Play to Win Studios at banksandjones.com, this is your Praise